Hi, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and let's get right into this story. This video is a follow-up from the previous video we did about the Jamaican who is also a doctor in the United States of America, and she was about to start her residency specialty at Morehouse School of Medicine when she was killed. Her ex-husband is in custody. That video. This is a follow-up to that video with more intimate details concerning what took place in that video. You know, first of all, let me say, it's never going to change. So, people who listen to these videos and hear us talk about the men who do these things and the women and how women can try to avoid these things, some people blame us and say we sound like we're blaming the victim. But I will say this on repeat. The type of men that do these things, they never listen to somebody from a podcast. They never listen to somebody from a YouTube channel. They never listen to somebody speaking sense to them. They will always do what they always do. This is why this type of crime has always existed since the beginning of time, and it always will exist. It is up to the woman to, I don't know, maybe pray for discernment, maybe be very, very selective in who she chooses to deal with, let into her world, etc. Because it can come back to bite you. You know, this lady was once married to this man and gave two beautiful children to this man. I just watched the interview of their daughter, and their daughter is 18 years old. Their daughter is super pretty. She is tall. She is very intelligent. She now has no mom and no dad because mom goes to the grave and daddy goes to prison, possibly for the rest of his life. Now, these are the pieces of information that I gathered from this updated piece. He used a machete. I know some people want to know the details. I don't know why. I'm that type too, because if I deliver a story, I like to be precise in my delivery and accurate with the pieces of information. He used a machete, is what was said. She was stabbed to death with a machete. In Jamaica, we say machete. We never say machete. We say machete. A machete, a cutlass. How you stab somebody with a cutlass like it's a sword is beyond me. But you can only imagine the kind of wound that would cause, right? How the police was able to get to him so quick? He left behind the bloody machete. His fingerprints were on the bloody machete. In the United States of America, they have what's called a database, a national DNA database. That means you can commit this crime in New York, but you live in Texas or Miami, and you cross state lines and you commit a crime and you run back to your state. Well, once you leave that fingerprint, everybody here is fingerprinted. If you've had some form of government license, if you've had some form of government ID, if you were born into the system here, if you are an immigrant that came here, worse, your DNA metadata info is already in the web of the system. So when they throw that fingerprint into the system, it automatically led them to him. But they didn't even need that. Check this out. So he left behind the bloody machete, his fingerprints on the bloody machete, a trail of blood from where she was killed, leading out the door, as if he did not even care about getting caught. And to boot, he was captured on ring cam video leaving his ex-wife's apartment, scene of the crime, at the time of the murder. And on ring cam, it is said that he was observed covered in blood. Wow. It doesn't take much more than that. This is pretty much a slam dunk case. The only thing I think law enforcement wants to know is, why did he do it? What happened? What drove you to this? I mean, you guys have been together for years before you got divorced, and you still stayed in touch through all your ups and downs. So I'm sure you've had arguments and fights before, but today, what drove you to want to take her life? Even though you guys are not even married anymore. So it's not like you have to live in the same house and she can get on your nerves and y'all can argue close and intimately. It's not like you're going to have to sleep on the couch and you have some kind of resentment because you can't sleep in your bed because you feel like your enemy is there, but that's your wife. It's a totally different situation. You guys live in completely different states even. So what could have happened today that made you feel like you wanted to take her life today? Well, I think I have some insight into that. The daughter is now 18 years old. 18 is considered to be an adult in the United States of America. A legal adult. You get charged with a crime at 18. You're not going to a juvenile facility. You're going to prison with the big boys. Okay? All right. So this 18-year-old, her name is Nahima Woolery. And in our last video, I blocked out her face and her brother's face because I didn't want to be the one to put their face out there because I did not know how old they were. It was said that they are teenagers, and I thought maybe I need to protect their identity because they might be 13. They might be 14, 13 and 14, a boy and a girl. But it turns out that she is legal. She's 18, and she just did an interview with a news media station, and I watched the interview. She said, I kind of knew it. I kind of knew it was my dad who did it, but I did not want to believe it. She kind of knew it was her dad, but she didn't want to believe it because she knew her parents' relationship was iffy. Like they didn't communicate well with each other. But never in a million years did she think that he would actually lay hands on her mom. As if to say, he would never hit my mom. But in that same breath, while she was saying that, she said, however, I had to file a order of protection against him 2 years ago in Indiana due to his violence. Now, I'm watching her demeanor and I'm watching her do the interview, and I can tell that even then she is withholding stuff. She is in denial about things. See, what I think happened here is there has always been violence in that household. And it probably is one of the main reasons why they ended up being divorced. Man probably wants control of his house, but he's a violent person. Like, he beats his wife and he beats his kids. And, you know, he uses beating as his thing. And the wife can't take it. And she's like, I'm heading in a different direction. Y'all see the direction in which she headed with her life, right? Right. She was going to be a surgeon. She accomplished becoming a doctor, and she was going to be a surgeon. She was about to start her residency in her field of specialty. So I can't help but to think that this young lady is holding so much back because she really wants to say, my dad's always been violent. Him and my mom would argue all the time. They would fight each other. They would break stuff in the house. That's embarrassing for a lot of people to come out and admit to public. And especially knowing now, I mean, she's from St. Elizabeth in Jamaica. Especially knowing now that she has that background, Jamaican background or Caribbean background is like this. Whatever happens in the house stays in the house. So a lot of the times the families carry some embarrassing secrets, right? And when you see them on the outside, it's like everybody is prim and proper, well spoken, well dressed. The kids are clean, everybody looks good. Mom's going to school, getting her degrees, moving upward in life. Dad's hardworking. If they're trying to paint a perfect family picture, and I think that's what happened to them. They tried to paint a perfect family picture for as long as they could, but there were too many issues on the inside of the house, so the marriage fell apart and they went their separate ways. I'm watching her do the interview, and not once did she even shed a tear. Now remember, your mom just got killed by your dad a few days ago, and you're doing an interview on the issue with a news media station. There were no tears. There weren't even a choke up, a pause, nothing. It is as if she remained emotionless to the fact. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, people deal with grief in different ways. Sometimes people are shocked. Sometimes they just haven't started crying yet, and you can't figure out why. And I understand that. But that is a child, and your mom and your dad are gone. And your dad was the one that killed your mom. Your mom, who you loved so much, who was such a nice, beautiful, kind, caring, tender, loving mom, just like you described her, and you never even choked up. It kind of tells me that there were issues going on behind the scenes. I'm not blaming that man for everything, because it takes two. I'm not blaming that woman, because I don't want to add insult to injury and pour salt in a wound. But it kind of gives me an idea that the whole family knew, there were issues behind the scenes that they kept away from the public for the longest. Why else would the daughter have had to file a restraining order 2 years ago because of his violence? She's 18. 2 years ago, she was 16. And at 16, she had to go to the police station, report her father, file a report, and file a protection order against him. And the court paperwork shows that he was charged. And he was charged with felony domestic battery in 2022. That case was later dismissed. And now he is on a malice murder charge for taking the life of their mom. How do you stab someone with a machete? It's not a sword. That's a hell of a stab. At the end of the day, though, she was a victim. She is a victim. She was just about to start her residency at Morehouse School of Medicine. I'm speaking about the mother. And I think resentment is what caused all of this. Said it before and I'll say it again. When a relationship ends, somebody feels like they put everything into it and they lost everything. Somebody else might just easily walk away. So you'll have one partner just, it's over, I don't care, I'm moving on, it was garbage anyways. And then you have another one who was like, that was my everything and I lost everything. Somebody always feels the loss more than somebody else, right? I think his resentment, though, is that he blamed her for the way that things turned out with their family, with their children. She's moving on in life. She has the children with her. He is ostracized as the bad guy. His own daughter took out a protection order against him 2 years ago. So the relationship could not have been that daddy-daughter hunky-dory like how he had dreamed of raising his children and having a close relationship with them. He lost his marriage. He lost the relationship with his children. She's over here getting happy, moving along, accomplishing great things. He has little contact with his children. He is kept at a distance. He is seen as the boogeyman. And I think he hated that. And the reason why I say this is because he did it on Father's Day. Father's Day. That's very telling. that he did that on Father's Day. I think he made up his mind that there is no Father's Day for him. He lost everything. Nothing turned out the way it should have. And his daughter is now a young adult. She just hit 18. So it's not going to get better, or that's how he sees it. And he did this on Father's Day to make a statement. He didn't try to clean up the murder scene. He didn't try to wipe the blood off. He wiped his fingerprint off the murder weapon. He left the murder weapon right there at the scene with his fingerprints on it. He didn't try to disguise himself going out the door knowing that there were ring cams all around. He walked out fully bloody. He wanted to get caught. He was tired. This was sad. But that's the updated information we have on this case so far. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. We will continue to follow this case until it goes to court, until he is sentenced. And of course, you know, more details will come out once they start getting to the court and the testimonies and all this other stuff. So I look forward to hearing and getting to the root of what actually caused this, what was his motive, why he felt like he had to do her like that. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.